And so next we have this tweet from Intercom. This is from the CTO of Intercom, saying 9 months ago they publicly committed to 2 timing the productivity of their R&D org at Intercom, and it was scary. It wasn't always clear they'd pull it off, but they hit it with 3 months to spare. In fact, looking back 16 months, they've 3x'd, and here's what actually happened. So they kind of go through it. They're saying PRs per person across all of R&D is 3x. Went from 16 per month to 33 per month, which is interesting. And they do mention that PRs aren't perfect, and they also say that they're down 35% downtime from breaking changes, and their AI spend is growing fast, but actually declines in cost per PR, which is interesting. So 45% down from December, which was $1,400 per PR, now down to $600. So very interesting. And they say limiting token budgets is the expensive choice, which makes sense. You know, in an organization, you want to encourage your team to do as much token spend as possible, but they don't really specify how they manage to lower this cost. My guess is maybe being smarter about which models are being used for what, or as you can see here in this next part, that maybe they're just buying everyone the $200 Cloud Code plan, because then you can run up $5,000 in usage. But it is interesting, like per PR, still definitely a lot of spend happening in tokens. You know, for me, like I probably spend like maybe $5 at most, like using a Code Rabbit or using a Codex review to review a PR, but this is a lot. But I guess from a security perspective, you just want to run at it, and like it would be interesting to kind of know what these loops look like, if it's like Ralph loops that are, you know, just doing review, or if it's writing the code itself, and kind of how that's separated. And it's cool as well how they like connected to Fin, which is like their self-service model. So with Intercom now you can like pay, I think it's like $1 per resolution, so it's actually free to use, but per resolution from the customer is what you pay for, and it's like usage based. And they were kind of the original to say like, okay, we're gonna move from seat based to usage based, so just very interesting. And then we have this other tweet from Ryan Sherlock, which is similar, and he's the senior director of engineering at Intercom, and he just said using the PR as a metric seemed like a bad idea, but the reason why it's good is because it's an easy to understand metric, forcing them to find the actual limits of how they build. And he says, for example, agentic coding ramped up Intercom, and they started creating way more PRs, and their CI time and cost blew up, so the costs were increasing exponentially, and basically they found the bottleneck, they focused on it, and now it's the fastest and cheapest per test run that it's ever been.